beautiful. Hi, John Spark here from Travel with Purpose, and on the line with me today I've got Nolene. Nolene's from Dragonfly in South Africa and is the master, I would say, behind this itinerary. Hello Nolene, how are you?
Hi John, I'm great, thank you. It's awesome chatting to you about this program that we've put together.
It's just amazing what you've come up with, and more importantly, what South Africa has to offer. And I'm really, really excited to give people the opportunity to have what I feel is an amazing, unique culinary experience in South Africa, topped off with an incredible game park experience, one that I've actually been to myself. So I remember my brief to you was to come up with an itinerary that incorporated what South Africa is known for, and also some of the unique places to find, not the main tourist places, places that are little cafes that locals know about, little restaurants that only can have a few people in them. And we put together some cooking classes, some great chefs, a couple of local, really, really well-known South African chefs over there. That's fantastic. And we've got some incredible scenery, and of course, where would it be without some brilliant, beautiful wines? And I'm looking forward to that part particularly. So we crafted this to last for 2 weeks, and by the time you come back, you're going to be just out of this world, I think, with all your taste buds and sensories stretched to the max, which is what we're trying to achieve. So this is for those who are really, really dedicated to their food and their wine and looking for that unique experience in comfort, in style. We've found really quaint accommodation, limited to not much more than our group, some of the cases. So we have got a little bit off the beaten track, but also in places where the heart of some of these little cities and towns are, or not so much cities are they, they're towns, where we can get out and get up close and personal with the local experience and local cultures. So Nolene, what I'll do is work my way through the daily photos, and we just do some highlights of each day just to give people an idea what's going on and maybe whet their appetite, so to speak. So let's see if I can click over to the first slide, and we're in town. Excellent. So would you like to tell us why you chose Mount Nelson for our first day when we arrive in Cape Town?
Very, very famous for their high tea. So definitely a highlight when you're staying in Cape Town, and specifically staying at the Mount Nelson Hotel. Instead of having a lunch on arrival, we've done a bit of a different lunch setting for that afternoon, where you arrive and you have a beautiful spread of delicious snacks, teas, cakes, and some of the best teas as well. So just a nice way to welcome you into Cape Town.
Excellent. How far away is it from where we'll be staying?
It's actually on the property. It's part of the Mount Nelson Hotel.
Okay.
They've got a beautiful dining area.
Okay, well here we are, Nolene, about to start day 2 of this culinary journey through South Africa. Let's go to the photos you've got, shall we? Righto. Tell us about the highlights of this unbelievable looking place. Look at that, what a beautiful shot. That must be where all the fish markets and seafood restaurants are, I take it.
I know, it's awesome. This is the V&A waterfront in Cape Town, with just spectacular views of Table Mountain. And we start the Cape Town trip with a city tour. It's always great to just get an orientation of where you are, get a bit of history of Cape Town. And on this particular day, we've got a local expert that will take the group around the city centre, share some personal stories of growing up in Cape Town, you know, visiting some favourite spots in Cape Town, food spots particularly. And this expert, Karen Dudley, is a caterer, a cookbook writer, and she's got 2 restaurants in Cape Town, and she'll be taking us to some of her favourite spots in the city. some local coffee shops, her favorite bakeries. We'll do some tastings of different cuisine from South Africa. So it's really a taste your way through the city bowl with a local expert and just enjoying what Cape Town has to offer that most people don't get to see when they're just on a standard city tour. And we've also got included, obviously, a visit to Table Mountain. When you come to South Africa, one of the highlights of Cape Town is seeing Table Mountain, which is now one of the natural 7 wonders of the world. So you definitely have to go up the mountain and just enjoy the spectacular views from the top. So that's basically what this morning would and the full day would include, is just a beautiful stroll through the city, tasting some local foods, and then ending off on Table Mountain.
That's an awesome picture of it there, isn't it? Just marvelous. I never realized what it looked like.
So beautiful. It is so beautiful. That's the city center, Camps Bay, waterfront, so spectacular.
And of course, where they play rugby, I take it, isn't it?
Yes, that's the new stadium.
Where the World Cup holders, the All Blacks play, happen to be a Kiwi. That's why I'm sticking that in. Another bit of cable about it. And that's where's that photo?
That is Corinne Dudley's restaurant. She's got 2. One is a deli-style restaurant that serves breakfast and lunch in Woodstock, so very popular with the locals. And as you can see, it's quite busy. Lots of delicious salads and roast meat that she puts out for lunch. And then she's got a second restaurant that's open for dinner, which is called the Dining Room. And we end off this day with a private party with Corinne Dudley in her restaurant called the Dining Room.
Beautiful. And that would be some of the local markets around Cape Town, right?
Correct. That's part of the Green Market Square. Lots of African crafts, great vibe, lots of music, and just an awesome place just to walk through and do a bit of shopping and see what the locals are up to. So,
okay, here we are on day 4, and yet another stunning photo. I don't believe these. Who took these photos? Was this you, Nolene?
Oh, I wish. It is truly spectacular. That is Hout Bay Harbour. One of the stops included on this day. We head out to Cape Point, another highlight that you must see when in Cape Town. It's truly a spectacular drive all the way from Cape Town to Cape Point. It's a beautiful drive along the coastline, stopping at Hout Bay Harbour, where the local they come in with their fish. They go out and do some fishing in the mornings, and then by the afternoons they come back and they sell their fish at the harbour. So it's still a working harbour, just absolutely stunning. And then we take the drive.
Sorry to cut across you. This is obviously not rehearsed because I'm doing the photos and Nolene's in South Africa trying to talk me through, and I have no idea which is the next photo. So should I be clicking through?
Yes, you're welcome to. I'll talk as you move along.
Yeah.
So if you can move along the next one.
Wow, look at that.
So that's a picture of Cape Point. It's one of the lookout viewing points. Absolutely just amazing. It's within a national park. So you can expect to see some antelopes, ostriches within the park as well, and then just enjoying the views of the Cape Peninsula. Really beautiful. And there's a lighthouse as well. We take people up on a funicular to see the lighthouse. We usually spend about an hour here. It's really just so amazing.
Wow. This is more the same place, is it?
It is still Cape Point, yes. It's quite a big reserve. Just so beautiful. This is another picture of Hout Bay Harbour. Just again, quite beautiful. Yeah, so we've another stop that we include on this day is the Boulders Beach Penguin Colony, and the jackass penguin's quite famous here in South Africa. So quite a nice stop as well on the beachfront of Boulders. This particular venue's but the dinner location, which is one of our top restaurants that we'll be going to, the Potluck Club. Quite famous, quite trendy. It's quite difficult to get space here. They booked out up until I think February or March next year already. So it's quite difficult to get space. A very popular restaurant.
What's it famous for?
It's just the chef Luke Dale Roberts is a new upcoming chef. He's got 2 restaurants. Just the type of food that he produces, very much local food, focusing on seasonal ingredients, just exquisite food in a great location in the Woodstock area.
Beautiful.
That's Cape Point again.
Okay, so...
And that's the lunch venue, which is Harbour House.
Nice.
Sorry, so the group will have a beautiful seafood lunch on the harbour in Kalk Bay, and it's just spectacular again. It's on the harbour's edge, like I said, with just rocks and water splashing against the windows while you're enjoying your seafood.
Day 4, let's roll with day 4. What's the highlight for today? If you were to sum it up in one thing, what would it be?
I think seeing the wine estates. Cape Town's also quite well known for the very good wines that we produce. So it's going out to some of our most beautiful wine estates and tasting some of the best wines.
Beautiful. And this is one of the wine estates, is it?
Yes, this is Babylon Sturen. This particular is more a food stop. They've got a beautiful vegetable garden, which is their pride, really. And we'll take a stroll through their vegetable garden. We'll meet the local chef. The guests will have an opportunity to pick some of their own salad ingredients, and then he'll take that into the kitchen and prepare their lunch for them.
What would the temperature be in May?
May is moving more towards the end of summer into autumn. Mm-hmm. So most of the days are still really beautiful, reaching temperatures of the mid-20s, maybe a couple of showers in the day, but really the rainy season is more in the winter months. So it's still a beautiful, beautiful time for Cape Town, especially in the winelands. It's always a couple degrees warmer than in the city centre, but it's a beautiful, beautiful time to be there. It's very green still, so also just it's a beautiful time.
That looks like an autumn photo that we're looking at there. The trees look changing colour down the side of the road.
Yes, you're right, absolutely. And you can see the views are just spectacular with the mountains in the background.
Very much so. And okay, so here we are on day 5, Noeline. Whereabouts is this?
So on day 5, we depart Cape Town and we take a drive out to the Cape Overberg, which is quite famous. They call it the wheat basket of South Africa. So lots of farming done here, fruits, grapes, cattle. Just it's a beautiful drive out there. And this particular photo is in Hermanus, where we'll stop for 2 nights. And we'll spend in this area. So that's just a picture of Hermanus Harbour. Quite beautiful. That's a picture of the hotel, the Marine Hotel, which is the hotel that we'll be staying at for 2 nights here. Another beautiful picture. It's such a scenic drive. Everything in Cape Town is just beautiful. Don't think you'll find an area that does not have spectacular views and mountains and vineyards. So this is just so beautiful. This is a stop en route from Cape Town where we'll do a tapas and wine tasting. This is a boutique winery, very much family owned, and you'll get to meet the winemakers, meet the owners, and they'll take you through their estate, through the process of winemaking, and then we'll end off with a tapas and wine pairing.
Nice.
Some scenery along the route.
Wheat fields by the look.
Yes. tapas and wine pairing.
Okay, here we are, day 6, and that looks deliciously inviting.
Absolutely. So we start the day off at a local cheese farm. Again, this is a family-owned, very small farm, and we head out there. They share with us, how they make their cheese. They show us the process, and then of course, you have to taste the cheese. So there's a cheese tasting included as well. And that's a picture of the cheese farm.
Mm-hmm. The setting?
A couple of other routes or highlights for this day is doing a craft beer tasting at one of the first wine and brewing estates within the Southern Hemisphere. And then we have a beautiful lunch under oak trees next to a lagoon. And this is the picture that you're seeing now. It's set up picnic style next to the lagoon, al fresco lunch, lots of cheese boards, having just a delicious lunch outside, enjoying South Africa's good weather. That's the craft beer tasting, and again, some delicious cheeses.
Okay, here we are on day 7 with a big bowl of olives by the look. Are they olives?
Yes, olives.
Interesting colour.
We start Yeah, absolutely. We start this day off, we depart from Hermanus, and we start our journey along Route 62, which is quite a famous route in South Africa. It's the longest wine route in the world, and quite a lot of culinary foodie stops along this way. It's a more, you would visit some quaint villages, stop at farm stalls, and just meet the locals, meet the heart of the people in this area. Our first stop is a working olive farm. We'll have a delicious Karoo lunch in a small village at the Karoo in McGregor. We'll include a coffee tasting at a local roastery. And like I said, farm stalls are abundant in this area. So we'll stop there. People can browse around and buy some of the local produce, which is dried fruit, freshly made bread, local, hand-made jam, preserves, and local crafts. So just an awesome day. And the journey, the scenery throughout is just, again, quite spectacular.
How long will we be driving that day?
From Hermanus to the first stop, I would say it's probably about 2 hours, and then from there it's half an hour apart to from the next stop. So it's a leisurely drive, stopping at the different foodie places. So it's not a rush journey at all. It's about experiencing what this route has to offer, what the different towns has to offer, getting out of the vehicle, meeting the locals, tasting the produce. And it's just a really relaxing day. And we're trying to make it as fun as possible to stop at as many places as we can. And then we end off in Swellendam, which is beautiful. This is the place, the guest house that we'll be staying. And this is the 4th oldest town in South Africa. And it's truly one of South Africa's best kept secrets. Just an amazing location.
Look at that, different scenery from the last couple of photos. Quite contrastingly different.
Very much so.
On Route 62, not 66. Look at that again, even different. Man, I'm looking forward to the scenery over there. Okay, and yet the scenery changes again. It's unbelievable. I have no idea that I've been to South Africa, but I haven't actually kept my eyes open enough to see how beautiful it is. What's the highlight today?
You are so right. So we only spend one night in Swellendam, and then we hit the road again along Route 62. And today's journey takes you through, beautiful, again, farming towns, just majestic mountains and, scenic passes. And there's just so much to see here, lots of vineyards and fruit orchards. So we start the day with a visit to a berry farm, and they also produce some liqueur. So we'll do a quick tasting there in the morning before we continue along this beautiful road again. So again, stopping at some different towns. We'll have lunch here, in Calitzdorp, which is known as the Fruit Bowl of the Karoo. And again, just continuing, there's so many beautiful towns just to see and to stop at and just enjoy the nature and the road and everything else it has to offer.
I like the fact that we've got lots and lots of stops, and that we are going to be meeting local people, the real people who are living there all the time, doing everyday life, so we can get far greater understanding of your culture. I think it's really important on a personal level.
Absolutely, and you meet really the heart of the country when you're visiting local people and you're experiencing the different cultures. And today's stop here is in a small town called Prince Albert, which is the jewel of the Great Karoo, and we spent 2 nights here. And you'll truly experience the Karoo hospitality, where you'll be welcomed, and you'll just enjoy the quaintness of this town. Really spectacular.
Magic. Looks like a little country outback Australian town.
Absolutely.
Okay, here we are on day 9, and what are we going to do today that's a standout? Is there anything that just jumps out at you about day 9?
Absolutely, a full day hands-on cooking and cycling tour.
My dream.
We start off with a hands-on cooking class where they'll get to learn how to make some of the traditional Karoo cuisine. So that's really a highlight. And then also doing a cycling tour, getting on a bike, cycling through the town, stopping, tasting olives, tasting cheese, meeting again the locals. So it's just a great way to explore the town, learning some of the history of it, stopping at their country store and browsing through their antiques and gifts and crafts. So just an awesome way to explore this town. And then we end off this evening by enjoying the food that they prepare during the cooking class.
Nice, nice, nice indeed. And look at that. How about that? Another stunning picture. You haven't photoshopped these, have you?
No, it is truly as beautiful as what the picture looked like.
Wow. That's a rail line going across it.
This day we depart from Prince Albert and they drive towards their safari destination, and the route is along the Garden Route coastline. Some beautiful stops again. You get George Wilderness, Knysna is one stop, and Plettenberg Bay. And we stop in Knysna particularly, which is quite famous for their oysters. And here we'll do an oyster experience where they'll get, to learn a bit more about the cultivation process, and then also, again, taste some oysters with a glass of wine.
I'm looking forward to that. I love oysters.
And then they continue to Plettenberg Bay, and we'll have a delicious lunch there in the vineyards, and also a sparkling wine tasting.
Lunch table, I take it?
Lunch venue in the vineyards, really quite unique, beautiful, special.
Wow, just some locals.
Yes, another highlight for this day is the Big 5 Safari. Another thing that you have to do when you come to South Africa is do a safari. So on this day, we arrive at the lodge, and they head out on an afternoon game drive where they'll get to see some of the Big 5.
Wow. I've been to Shamwari. I know what it's like. The lodge is unbelievably beautiful and exquisite, the way it's blended in with the whole surround. So people are going to be very, very impressed with that. And then the game is basically on your back door, so you don't have to drive very far, which is great. Here we are on day 11, drawing towards the end. What are we doing here? What's that they're cooking?
It's what they call stick bread. So they take bread dough and they wrap it around a stick and they cook it over an open fire.
Oh my
It's
God.
quite a traditional.
I didn't do
Yes,
that
awesome.
when
So
I-
on this is on this day we've got a cooking course again, but it's a wild safari cooking course. So they'll learn more about cooking traditional stews, African type foods, traditional cooking methods, and they'll have the chef take them out into the reserve at a nice location where they'll taste some of the foods as well. So this whole day again is around cooking and learning how to prepare the traditional cuisine of South Africa. And then we end off this day with a cook-off challenge where we'll go out again to a remote location and everybody will prepare their own dinner using traditional methods. That picture was of a cast iron pot which we used to cook in some stews. So we'll have this challenge with the chef that will guide them. We'll judge each person's pot of stew, and then afterwards they'll sit down together and enjoy their food. And of course, they'll still have the morning safaris going out to see some game, and again in the afternoon.
Yeah, the game safaris traditionally get off at just before daybreak, don't they? So it's an early rise.
It's an early start, but absolutely worth it. You get an early morning wake up call, enjoy some tea and coffee before you head out, and then you spend about 2.5 to 3 hours out on the game vehicle in search of the Big Five.
Beautiful.
So in morning and afternoon game drives and just spending a bit of time at the lodge enjoying everything it has to offer. And then on the afternoon game drive, we'll enjoy the beautiful African sunset with a sundowner stop in the middle of the bush, and then end up in a remote location off property from the lodge in the middle of the bush, and we'll enjoy a campfire dinner that will be hosted by Jan Braai, which is this gentleman in the picture. He's quite well known in South Africa as the braai master or barbecue master, and he's also the initiator of South Africa's National Braai Day. So he'll be there to host us, share some stories, perhaps a few cooking tips on how we do a barbecue here in South Africa.
Wow, looking forward to that. My son's got his book up in Perth. I saw that just recently when I was up there, so that's interesting.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, he's got, I think, 2 or 3 different cookbooks focusing purely just on barbecues and different ways and things to cook while you're out camping.
So are all of the Big Five present in Shamwari? I can't remember.
Yes, it is a Big Five game reserve.
So good. We'll get to see the lot. All things being equal.